What's up, Norbert Nation? How's it going? So today's video, we are going to be reviewing one of the worst races I've had in a long time. I mean, I've had races where I've been taken out or crashed, but this is one of the races where I had pace and I just went backwards. Pretty much the whole race was just me going backwards. And looking back, I watched this video. I've been pushing off watching this video for so long. And just watching it back a little bit before I recorded this, I was cringing at some of the moves I made and some of the decisions I made. It was just really poor racing on my half. But in this video, I just hope you guys can learn and understand that I'm pretty hard on myself, and you guys should be hard on yourself and critical of what you do wrong so that you can learn and just become a better driver. But yeah, this is going to be a tough watch. Not only for me, but for you guys as well. But hopefully you guys enjoy it and you can learn something along the way. But before we get into that, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot knowing that you guys are supporting this channel and supporting the content that I'm putting out there for you guys. With that being said, let's get started with the video. Okay, so we're starting the video and there is some silver linings. This start is possibly the best start I've had in my entire life. Starting in the 4th position, we had a decent pre-final, but right here, everybody's kind of lining up. I see the pole sitter stop, try to brake check everybody. I timed it really well, and you see right there, just shot the gap, went straight into first. I'm gonna replay that for you guys because that was just impressive. That was an amazing run. You can see when I go into the first corner right there, the flag is green. I get through it, I'm on the gas. I even get to set up for the first corner. So from 4th to 1st, that is just really impressive. So we're back out front. Not a lot is going on at the beginning of the race. When you get to the front this early, obviously you're just trying to maximize that gap. I've been in this spot before, and in those early laps, you can put about a second on a guy, especially if you can set up for the first corner, which I was able to do. And in those early laps, you want to just be like as perfect as possible because you can build that gap and stretch it out a little bit. And then from that point on, you can just maintain if you've got the setup for it. After that first lap, we just completed the first lap there. I wasn't that far ahead of second place. Wasn't, the best gap that I got. The track's super dirty, especially for the first place guy, so it's really difficult to get through there. As we're coming out of this corner, I had a decent gap, still didn't have to block, but the driver's closing. It's Joe Turney in second place. He's closing up to me, and so I know that, in the next lap or so, I've got two choices. I can either block and hold this field up and kind of stack it up that way, or I can watch out and kind of see how I'm going to do in the second place position. I look back on the straightaway right there and I see that there's a good gap between second and the rest of the field. So knowing that, I know that I don't necessarily have to block that much. Even if he passes me, I'll still most likely slot back into the second position. And I won't really have to do a lot after that. And I can just maybe manage that gap. So coming out of this corner right here, I look up and there is a yellow flag in that corner, and I'll zoom that in again as well. But there was a yellow flag, and then right before we go into the corner, the guy pulls the yellow flag. I get past, and I fall back into the second position. And at this point, I'm not too upset with it. The only thing is that in the last race, in the pre-final, he got out to an early lead, and he just held that. He was able to get his card in early, and he was able to pull that gap, and I really wasn't able to do much about it, so I don't want to let him get away. Now, the video cuts out for some reason, and it actually picks up like a few laps later, which is fine anyways, because it was just me running back behind him. There's a moment where I had an opportunity to pass. I thought about it and didn't do it. Probably should have taken that earlier opportunity, but waited a little bit longer. Tires are starting to come back in, and we're starting to close that gap again. I'm getting a much better run through the infield than he is, so I'm looking possibly down into this corner here to maybe make the move. Was close enough that time, but I didn't make the move. But really, I'm just trying to space myself out. I'm looking back obviously throughout the laps, and I'm noticing that we have a good gap. We have a good lead on the rest of the field. There's no reason to try and sauce this thing up a little bit too much. It's just about trying to keep consistent and keep my head down. Things that I'm noticing though, obviously through the high speed corners, the last couple corners, I definitely lose a little bit of time there. His cart must be set up a little bit better for the high speed stuff, because again, through the low speed stuff, I close back up. So if I'm gonna make a pass, it's definitely gonna be in the low speed section. Obviously I had a little bit of a window earlier that last lap, but he did clear a lot of space in between us. So definitely got to catch that back up. So a lap or so has gone by there, and we've caught back up to the leader, and basically at this point, if I get an opportunity, I need to take it. He kind of overslows for that second corner there. I was able to pick up a lot of time. I know this is where I'm faster on the racetrack. He makes a mistake out of that corner there, runs a little bit wide. He knows I'm there, and so that's why he kind of laid down a little bit on the racetrack a little bit, see if I would hesitate. But I've got to take that opportunity. At a spot like this in the race, if you have a driver that is, capable of checking out, if they can just put down those consistent times, especially that kind of driver, he's a very capable driver. So if he's got the time and the space to just put consistent laps in, he's going to do that. And so when he makes a mistake like that, you've got to be able to capitalize on it immediately. So I took that opportunity. I get to the lead. The drivers behind us had started to close up a little bit, and that's why he passed back immediately, and I caught on to that. So I was able to do a quick over-under on him, get back to the lead, just because, again, you're looking back and you're seeing the drivers, the rest of the field starting to close. And so at this point, I'm realizing, okay, maybe I do need to stack this field up a little bit. The strategy is that if you stack everybody up a little bit, you're going to be able to get them to race each other and kind of leave you alone. When you get out to the lead and you make that pass, your momentum is kind of stopped. And so you've got to try and create like some momentum going forward again. And you can do that by slowing up the rest of the pack into each other. And that's kind of what I was aiming to do there. Once I got to the lead, is try and box everybody up. I get into this spot right there, and the driver behind me signals like, let's go, let's, don't block. Shouldn't have believed him. And right here, I should have been a lot more, aware. I looked back and I didn't pay enough attention. I looked back at the beginning part of the straightaway, not the end, and so he made the pass, and that just, kind of pushed me wide. He got a good run on there. I started to defend. I had some dirt on my tires, so then I go into here. The drivers are looking to the inside. I go in late on the brakes, and not only did I miss the corner, but I just got smashed up the inside by a few other drivers, and so lost 2 positions. Wasn't the best because, obviously now my momentum's going way further back, and I really just got to get like my head down and get some clear space and just get back going forward again. My teammate is right behind me right now, so I just kind of wave him by. You saw me kind of point the finger there. So he gets by, and then at this point, it's just about trying to get back in the race. There's still drivers on my bumper. There's one driver directly on my bumper. I make a mistake out of there. I know he's going to make the pass into here. I kind of drive in a little deep and shallow, hoping that he wouldn't make the pass, but he did. But right here, I'm going to try and stop the bleeding, get back going forward again. He tries to shove me down. No, I don't want to, deal with that and go over the curb a little bit on the inside. It did create a big gap, but in my head, you have to stop the bleeding at some point. You can get going forward and you can get going backwards really quick. And once you get going backwards over and over and over again, you're definitely, you need to stop that. You need to put an end to it. So right there, I was like, okay, I got to put an end to this going backwards thing. Got to get going forward again. And so I was able to do that. That little pass that I made there kind of spaced us out a little bit, where I had some breathing room. I could just kind of get in my rhythm again and kind of, make that gap back up. But now we're going into this section here. Basically, I've got such a big gap, I'm just going to run these guys down. Luckily, they start racing here in a little bit, so we'll just skip to that part. So we're coming out of the hairpin, and like I said, everybody up front started to race a lot, which was able to, bring me back into this race, and that's something you got to pay attention to. If you get out of contention early, a lot of these longer national races, they're super long races, and you can work your way back into it, especially if the front group is not the fastest. And right now, the 2 guys out front, they were quick throughout the day. They weren't the fastest there in the final, and so it kind of brought the pack back into it, and they were racing really hard. The problem is this is basically where my race falls apart. I get back into the race, but I just wasn't, ever in the right spot to take advantage of a lot of these opportunities. When you get in a train like this where everybody's really defending, there's not a lot you can do, especially with the new drop downs, because you just can't move a driver, you can't get underneath the driver, you're constantly worried about crashing or something. And so there's opportunities there where maybe I can make a pass, but again, I'm just kind of getting stuck on the outside. You see 2 drivers run into one another, and I'm just getting stuck in these really awkward positions where I'm not close enough to make a pass, and I'm not close enough to follow somebody through on a pass. And so I'm just really in this tough spot of trying to make sense of what's going on in front of me. Still, you know, I'm looking to try and get past the 320. He was defending a lot, but he's a faster driver. I know that just because of how he was able to march to the field and just watching him as we're driving. He's really quick. The Burrell in front of him, not so fast, and he's, you know, defending a lot. You see he's looking back. Any driver that's looking back that much is not quick. Right there, I should have defended. And that was so stupid. I went to that corner. I made a mistake in turn number 2. I knew I did, and I opened up hoping he wouldn't pass me. He was hammering me every lap up to that point because I was sitting in this train of cars. So he's trying to go by too. And I finally gave him an opportunity to go by, and obviously he's going to take it. Like, it'd be stupid if he didn't take it, but it's stupid of me to assume he's not going to take that opportunity. So, again, bad decision right there. That lost me 2 spots, but again, it takes me from going forward and pressuring that guy in front of me to now going backwards and having pressure put on me as the driver. And so now I'm stuck in this spot where I really can't do a lot. Obviously, they're still driving hard. They're still racing hard in front of me. So the opportunity to still win this race is still there. It's going to be a long shot, but we still got a shot at it. You know, I'm not giving up. Right here, you know, all the drivers, they look to block. I'm like, wow, this could be a good opportunity. I can pick up a few spots going around the outside, send it around the outside, and there's a driver parked on the outside of the corner. It's like I couldn't catch a break, and so I lose another spot, but because the one driver ended up just neutral. But I mean, come on, you know, like I finally get a good run. I'm like, that could be a good pass. I cleared like 2 drivers. I was at least going to get 1 spot, and I end up coming out neutral out of the whole thing, which is just describes exactly how this race is going. So again, gotta try and focus in and do something here. You know, I'm not making any passes, not going forward. I'm just sitting, and I should have been more aggressive. Definitely should have been more aggressive and forced some issues. But right here, the 2 drivers go, you know, down. I try to do the over/under. Didn't work. I just didn't get the best exit. So then, you know, have to defend going down in here, which is all right. You know, we didn't lose any spots, but that gap to that front group is just growing and growing. And obviously in the back of my head, I'm trying to win this race. So it's just getting slimmer and slimmer. The chances are just getting smaller and smaller. And so I'm starting to like, it always weighs on the back of your head. You know, you're starting to get nervous. You're starting to be like, okay, this is going to be like an impossible task to pull off. 392 gets a good run right there. I push him through. I'm like, okay, finally we got past that driver that was kind of, you know, blocking everybody. Maybe we get a good run. I got a good run on the 392 there, but he defends it, so that's all right. Going down into here, he kind of misses the corner. I have to check up. And then right here, he blocks and then shoots up. And I'm like, all right, I got a good run. And then I don't know why I thought that was a good idea to go to the outside. I could have easily just dropped back behind, waited a second to get back to the throttle, and then I lose 3 more spots because of it. Like, it's just so frustrating to watch myself do something so stupid. Because you can see, you know, he wasn't going to make the corner. Obviously, I tried it before where I tried to do the over-under. It didn't work. Again there, I tried to do another over-under. It doesn't work. I lose another spot. And it's just constant. It's just bad decisions after bad decisions. And it is so easy to get into this spot. And right here, I just get nailed in the middle of the corner. I don't even know what that is. And at this point, this is the last lap anyways, which it's just so frustrating. So I don't know what I was doing there. I mean, that it just spiraled so quickly. And that's the thing about racing, is if you let yourself get out of control, you know, early in the run, it's going to spiral super quick, especially when everybody's stacked up like that. And you can see these drivers are racing really hard. I think it's 2 to go, actually, not even the last lap. And so, yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just racing for 10th. And, I mean, these guys are just going crazy for 10th position. And so, I mean, I tried to make a few moves here and there, but nothing really happens after that. But moral of the story is you have to stay calm, and you have to try to stay with, you know, your race and not make stupid decisions. I knew a lot of this stuff wouldn't work. The worst decision was, you know, not making passes, not being aggressive enough, not paying enough attention. You know, when I was out front, I wasn't looking over my shoulder enough. I wasn't paying attention to the rest of the field. I was just kind of trusting that people would try and spread this race out. Didn't want to make it, you know, super aggressive. I don't know why I was trusting that. That's just ridiculous that they would not want to make the race aggressive. So next time I got to learn from that. The other thing too is I knew a lot of these outside passes wouldn't work. Obviously, like I tried to make one earlier, it didn't work. Then I tried to make another one, and that cost me 2 spots. Then I tried to make, you know, a late pass just to try and grab something back. Then I lose another 2 spots. And it's just decisions like that that will just eat up your race. And you can't make those decisions at the front of the field. Can't make them at any point of the race, but especially at the front of the field with the high-level drivers that we have in this series, you can't make those decisions because they're just going to make you pay for it constantly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I mean, this is the worst race I've had in like 6 or 8 years. I can't even remember a race that was this bad. So hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I definitely didn't. But please make sure to like and subscribe for more races like this. Hopefully we don't have any that are this bad coming in the future. But if we do, I'll make sure to show you guys first. Please make sure to go pick up some Norbert Nation merch. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram, my Facebook, and my TikTok. I post a lot of awesome racing content on there as well, so make sure to follow those as well. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.